Actually, I found that when I drank a beer and ran 5 miles, my voice was my peak, right? Because it had that raspy and had that deep, it's got that thing going on, It's like, yeah, baby, that's what I'm gonna write a
All
really
right,
good song
hang on,
about
Rick.
James Bond.
Inspiration's hit. Hold that thought. Let me share
Okay.
my screen.
Okay.
And I'm going to share Suno. And I'm going to go over here to the Create tab. And I'm going to say a country song about drinking a beer.
Oh, there you
and
go.
running 5 miles. And I'm just going to say, I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to hit create. And we're going to see what the song comes back with.
Welcome to AITV Starship. I'm the AI guy. Rick McCauley launching news so fresh. Gotta see it to believe it. We break the wire with the stories that amaze. Deep dives coming, lighten up your days. Tool Time shows you how we make it shine. Building futures with AI one step at a time. Yo, Rick, slow down. I'm Brandon, the producer. Save some tools for me. Shout out. I'm here bringing high-tech comic energy. AITV Starship. News deep dives and creation. AITV Starship. Learn. Laugh innovation. AITV Star Human Amplified. Catch the spark, ride the wave. Future's on our side. We got experts talking truth in the stream. Dreaming bigger, living stronger. Building a dream. From therapy bots to AGI talk. We ask the hard questions while we walk the walk. Yeah, I'm the voice of the folks at home. If Rick's too deep, I bring it down to the bone.
Good evening, good morning, good day, wherever you're watching us.
Yeah, here we are, Rick, the AI guy, with Brandon, the producer. We're bringing you AITV Starship. New episode, tonight's topic, music. We're going to make some, we're going to get crazy, we're going to celebrate Halloween. We're just going to have all kinds of fun. So, welcome back to the AITV Starship. How's it going today?
And we're mostly going to be in Suno, which this song that you're listening to right now in the background was actually made using Suno. So we eat our own ice cream here, or dog food, as they sometimes say.
Exactly.
I mean, one of the tastes better.
It's kind of, music is such a vital part of every human being's experience. It's how we experience emotions. We were talking about tonight, Brandon has done a little show with his son, making some Halloween music and having a lot of fun with that. I mean, it's the song of life, right? It's about the sad songs of breakup. It's about the celebrations of everything. It's about that you remember from high school and the song that you remember from that one moment when something happened. It's at every wedding, it's everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a complete. Somehow you're feeding back here.
Okay, there we go. I'll hold off on sharing the screen then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a whole kind of like part of our lives, and in such a beautiful way, and it is so many different things. And with artificial intelligence, there's kind of a lot to talk about. What is humanity if music can be produced so easily? So I think what I want to do here is kind of couch it like we do all things. How can we think about it? I mean, what do you think about what's that one music that sticks in your head that makes you cry? Is there something that makes you kind of like feel nostalgic, Brandon? Is there some favorite musician or group that you love?
I think more than nostalgia, I use music as anchor points. I can hear a song and have it take me back to a very specific moment in time when I heard that song for the first time, and it kind of itched into my brain. And so anytime I hear that song, I'm instantly transported back to that time.
Yeah, I mean, not to get sad about it, but my mom, when she had Alzheimer's, every morning she'd listen to Nat King Cole. And every morning she listened to the Isley Brothers and some gospel music and the stuff she grew up on. I think it is a cultural touchstone for all of us, right? In fact, I'll kind of offer up that if you are watching us here live, love to hear you pop in, just kind of drop into our DMs there, and send us a note and see what kind of music.
Slide into the DMs.
Slide into our DMs, right? Yeah. So do that Saturday night fever move with your feet, just kind of walking on over to our DMs and drop a little diamond in there for us. The diamond dust I want to hear from you really is I want to hear what music made a difference in your life and how did it do it? I mean, what's the magic thing that makes of all the things my mom forgot, she never forgot the music. And she would swoon and she'd ask me to dance with her to certain songs. And Nat King Cole was just like, I fell in love with him a long time ago. And then when his daughter did a duet with him, I thought that was just fabulous. So it's probably the most interesting, and here's a really deep dive. So tonight, you know how I get, like I get a nugget of some kind of idea, and so a DeepSeek announced that they're doing OCR method to compress data. And what they actually are doing is turning words into pictures. Now, being a photographer, I'm like, okay, so you've always said a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And what's really interesting is it turns out it could be worth tens of thousands of words. In fact, my assignment to every one of my students in my photography class, we only got one in graphic designs, one class, right? And I got 50 years I want to pour on them. And poor students, man, they're just like inundated with 50 years of stuff, right? But the one cool thing, and it's a simple statement, make a photograph that strangers will have 1,000 words to talk about. Right. So
Hmm.
I've used this phrase before, Frodo. Right. So if you say the word Frodo, there's a billion compressed ideas that explode. Right. The hero's journey, or Lord of the Rings, or maybe you know about Tolkien and why he wrote Lord of the Rings. So I've talked about that before. But stories and music is the same thing. It's a compression, like you mentioned. It's a touchstone for the human spirit. We remember when we were at that place, and we had that first kiss, last goodbye kind of thing. I want to look for where the comments are. Do we have anybody coming up and saying anything here?
Not yet. Everyone's just listening to the music.
Come on, folks. Just is Dr. Claire, are you out there? She said something about being busy tonight.
Yeah, she's
so,
going to be in class today. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll have to have her back on. And in fact, I'd love to have her back on to think about this idea. So photographs hold memories, right? My
Yeah.
daughter's birthday is this weekend. Mine's on Saturday and she's on Monday, I think. Oh boy, I've got to look that up, right? A couple days later. She's right around Halloween. And so we're planning, my sister's going to come down. We're going to celebrate. But you sing happy birthday. I mean, and then one of the weird things is, did you know happy birthday for a long time, they couldn't sing it in restaurants? And then they found out it didn't have any copyright because the words were written by a different person that did the music, and they never filed a proper copyright. So literally for like 75 years, if you go to Fridays or you go to any, kind of restaurant, they're not allowed to sing the happy birthday song. In fact, Back in Black, the story about the singer with the raspy voice that passed away from drug addiction, Amy Winehouse, right? So Amy Winehouse, the beginning opening of the documentary about her life, I think it was called Back in Black, if I'm not mistaken. They wanted to play a happy birthday. Well, it just so happened by the time the movie came out, they found out that happy birthday was an ill-formed copyright, so they could actually perform it. And it was her as like a 5-year-old kid singing the song. And oh my God, if you watch the movie, it'll bring tears to your eyes because you're just like, God, what a sweet, innocent, and incredibly dark, rich voice, full of cracks and age and sort of like experience, right? You could feel all of
Yeah.
that. And you think of Louis Armstrong singing. So music is a magical place of compression that's emotionally grounded. So anyway, get back to the DeepSeek thing. They figured out that they can compress data into a photograph. And then they figured out music is the same way. And if you look at Hume was this professor who studied linguistics. So when I'm excited, when I'm happy, when I'm sad, those are intonations that the computer has been able to figure out perfectly. And now it can speak to you. So we're getting to this point where Sora said, all the videos is indistinguishable from me telling these jokes. And it makes the whole thing up. And I can't tell it's not me. I had a couple of jokes and Dr. Claire was doing an opera. And I was like, do you know how to sing? What? And it was her voice, and she was singing just like Pavarotti or something. I'm like, holy cow, this is amazing. And I'm telling jokes that are funnier than I am. I'm not too bad, but um, and so if you can imagine it, it can make it. So I've always thought of the Sora moment, the first version of Sora when it came out, is like, okay, so it knows words, and then it learns still pictures, and then it learns motion picture. Because think about it, it knows physics, it knows fluid dynamics, it knows even emotional context, then it learns language emotionally, and now you've got robotics that know the difference between an egg and a block of iron and how much pressure. And on the palms, it has cameras. So literally, it comes up to pick up a beach ball. It knows how much weight it needs to lift. So then you're putting all of these. In fact, I think one of the news stories is talking about how they're hiring housekeepers to do their work and be videotaped. So they're training the robots. So Walmart's got a $15,000 robot you can have sent to your house now that will fold your laundry and cook your meals. And then, like we talked about last time, it knows 5-star chefs, absolutely amazing meals. So, wow. So if it knows all this stuff, oh boy, then it gets to that kind of uncomfortable position.
And it can sing.
And it can sing. Oh my God. Well, and then what I'm doing is I'm cloning my own voice. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look at the slides and see what we got in store for us tonight. So we kind of picked some song-related slides, as you can see here.
Before we get into that, I know
Yeah.
there was something that you wanted to touch on at the start of the show. I'm not sure if you still wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, last week, I've talked about being a dangerous man. And what I mean by that is it's someone who gets to a point of his life where he's, been enriched so well. I believe you're born with responsibility. I think if we all took that attitude rather than extracting economy, if we all did that, and I got to 65 and I've been blessed in so many ways, so I'm basically giving it away. I'm like Bill Gates, right? At the end of my life, I don't have that kind of money, but I don't want to leave the planet. I want to leave it better. So last week I said some things that were just a little bit harsh about Meta. Most of it deservedly so, but I incorrectly reported a couple of things, and I don't want to be that guy. And I also had Brandon kind of touch back and says, you said a few things maybe you should have not said. And at first I kind of kicked back and I said, this is my show. Brandon kind of like, just leave it in. He wanted to take it out. And then I started thinking, I was like, oh man, I owe you a big apology because you saved me from being stupid. And the one thing that anybody that believes, you got to walk the walk and talk the talk. So if you wrong someone, my kintsugi philosophy, that's a Japanese philosophy of you have a bowl and it's made of clay. If you do something wrong, it creates a break. And the idea is to put back gold where there was to mend it, right? And the gold is to, in my, you've got a bowl that you drink from every day, and it can crack and crack, and somehow you don't fix it. Did you lose me there for a second? You got me still?
Yeah, I've got you now. You're a little choppy on my end. I was trying to figure out if it was me or the or you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard it spin a bit. Okay, so this bowl crack, your job is to fix it. If you wrong somebody, your job is to apologize. So I apologized to Brandon, and he was very gracious and understood. I think there was this self-righteous kind of anger that I've had for a while, some resentment for anything that extracts from the economy. I don't think that in the holistic look at what Meta has done as a company, that they've been anything but kind of extracting from us. I mean, when you get anything for free, what do you get? You get somebody who has some alternative motive to want to do these things. And we gave them a free pass. We gave them immunity with the 230 doctrine by, Clinton. But anyway, getting back to the real important part of this is that if you do hurt somebody, if you are harsh with them, the thing that you can always do is be a better version of yourself the next day. So I called up and apologized and talked to you about it. But I also, really beautiful thing about you, Brandon, that I want to compliment you on, is that not only were you gracious, you totally understood, because you know what it is to be a human and make mistakes, and and then I'm positive, because you're teaching your kids this way, right? Is you teach them to go back and apologize to the person they wronged, and then to put it back and to think about, well, what did I do wrong and why did I do it? What's my motivation here? And on the one side, I want to be a bit of an angry old man that I'm not going to be satisfied with the world to be like it is. I want to fix it. So, but I went too far. So mea culpa. And I think the second thing is that you come on and you make it public, because it happened in a public space. And but I also want to be a representative of what I think. If I'm gonna say, hey, you guys go out and make music and have fun and do stuff with your kids, and if I'm gonna pretend that that's everything, that I believe in, then I gotta represent. So that's what this show is. I hope that everybody sees me fail, because again, when you crack and you fill it back drop by drop with blood, sweat, and tears, right? That's what it is to be human. You got to put it back with gold, and by the end of your life, if you've made as many mistakes, your chalice is solid gold, because you've just broken it so many times, and then you go back and you say, hey, how can I be better? So thank you for that, Brandon. I appreciate you to me before I made a public nuisance of myself. And I've done this before too. And I mean, one of the things I do in a lot of conversations, and you've seen me do it salon, which I also want to start, even though they haven't asked us for this, I want to promote them here. We'll put some little pop-ups here and there, to say AI Salon, it's definitely worth your checking out. It's a group of like-minded people, just like all of us. Both of us came and got together there. So there's like 3,000 to 5,000 people, I think. You want to tell us a little about AI Salon and where they can find more information?
Yeah, so the salon.ai or community.thesalon.ai is where you would go. And thank you, Rick, for your kind words. It's always a tough job being a producer, but I knew what I was getting myself into when
I didn't mean
when you
mean to
produce
make
The
it
Dangerous
tougher.
Man at 65.
Yeah.
We're gonna have moments, but
Well, at least I'm not Rogan or somebody else. So.
the salon.ai is a great community of over 3,000 like-minded individuals, everyone from artists to enthusiasts to architects to business folks, understanding what
Educators.
the AI is all about and just trying to be in the conversation. And a lot of us are using Perplexity to be in that conversation. And Rick, I think you have a special thing that you want to tell us about.
Yeah. So right here, you can get Perplexity for free for a while. And I'd highly recommend, again, I've said this again and again, but if you're going to use Perplexity, pay for it. If you're going to use Google, Gemini, pay for it. If you're going to use OpenAI. Why? Because otherwise you are being used as the product creator, right? So if you use them for free, and I'd say this for students. Now, student situation is you can get Perplexity for $10 a month for the year, and then you have full privacy. If you are paying for it, turn off a couple things we talked about in ChatGPT. There is train on my data. That's in the preferences. You can find that immediately. Just go down to the bottom left-hand corner, turn that off, and then it's not training on you, right? And they've also stopped up the other engineering problems they had. There was a leak that would get the information out on the wild internet. That happened for like 3 days, and they fixed it. Most every one of the models, the leading large language models, are really, really doing well with their engineering problems out. When they find them, the public, of course, because you've got 1 billion users. Isn't it 1 billion users now at ChatGPT? Or close to it.
Yeah, 800 million weekly users as a few weeks ago.
That's nuts. So it's soon to be everybody. So, and try it out while they're being really open and free. Yeah, especially generating video right now. It's free on a bunch of platforms. So check it out. Well, anyway, the reason why Perplexity. So if you use this code, if you want to support me in the channel, this is what I'm asking you to do. You can take a look at that URL that you see there. When I make this and download the PowerPoint, which I promise I will do on our new AITV channel, you'll see this link is there, and you'll see a bunch of cool stuff. So I'm literally loading up an entire PowerPoint deck to give to everybody for every application. So there'll be one for Perplexity, one for ChatGPT. We're going to have this one on Suno, etc., with lots of stuff that we didn't have time to get on the show. And it's going to be our way to kind of give back. But you can give back to us by, of course, liking and subscribing. And a little bit later, we'll introduce our new channel. So we have AITV Starship. You could find us just there on YouTube. Rick McCauley will still have a parallel everything. Right now, we just have the apps up there. We'll take a look at that later. Perplexity is great. It's a citation engine. It uses 7 different large language models, including Claude, ChatGPT, DeepSeek even, and it uses them in balance with each other. So we talked about how each one has a different personality, and each one is great for a different reason. If you want a beautiful English language eloquent voice, use Claude. If you want a middle of the road average kind of guy, use ChatGPT. If you want Andrew Dice Clay, then just dip on into Grok, baby, and it'll get nasty with you, right? So you use each tool for its strength. And Google's Gemini, I would suggest, is probably the best mixture of all, because it has the leading edge VO. Now, what is it, 3.1? Is that the latest? Or 2.1?
Yep, 3.1.
Okay, 3.1. And then over in OpenAI, you've got Sora. Play around with that. Sora doesn't have a first image in yet, and that will be coming soon to their video. And their video model is also going a lot bigger as well. I mean, there's been people that are talking about we're at AGI now, and SGI is next year. Super intelligence, if you're not really into that. So let's go and take a look at the next slide. So if you want to help us out, that gives me $20 every time you download it. All you got to do is launch it. Now, I will warn you one thing, that Comet browser, you'll see me demonstrate it. I'll probably do a whole deep dive on Comet. Comet is an actual browser. So it's Chrome, and in the right-hand side, it has an assistant built in, which is Perplexity. So and it can take control of your machine. Now, guess what OpenAI did 2 days ago? They said, Perplexity, you're not the only one on the block. We're going to do it too. So they did this creating Suno and getting into that. I am going to show you both browsers just so you can kind of see the difference. It's pretty amazing. Right now, Perplexity has about a 3-week lead on it. And have you tried both of them?
And not to be outdone, Microsoft came out today and said they're going to throw Copilot into Edge, because for the 4 people that use Edge, that's going to matter.
Yeah, if you don't know the history of Edge, it's like Edge is about like Clippy, right? Do you remember Clippy? Down to your bottom right-hand corner or whatever. And it was this little paper clip that, in fact, my friend of mine works for he was at Adobe, and I was consulting it with Adobe back in the day. John, maybe he'll be on the show someday. He goes over to Microsoft, and the first day he was there, he goes in front of the Microsoft building, and there's a giant, like 30-foot Clippy. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I mean, it's just sort of the joke of the industry, and I'm not a super fan. At Broward College, we use Microsoft products, so I've tried to make a PowerPoint presentation. I can't tell you how many times. I mean, I got 50 years of image making, and this thing is just sad.
Well, you might want to give Copilot another chance, because they just did their fall update today, and they announced a bunch of stuff. So they are going to be ripping a page out of Notebook LM's guide by doing podcasts and deep research, flashcards. They're also going to be doing real talk, where their model gets a little less sycophantic. And I think one of the coolest things is they're trying to personify the user experience by giving so ChatGPT has Sam Altman, and Microsoft Copilot now has Moxie, and Moxie is your new digital assistant.
Moxie. Okay, so Moxie is a word from 1940. I swear to God, it's a word that having Moxie is what I remember from 1930s film with.
No, I'm sorry, not Moxie. Miko, right? Miko, not Moxie. They had Moxie for announcing Miko. That was the tagline. So M-I-C-O.
Is it M-E-K-O?
No, M-I-C-O, as in Microsoft.
Oh, okay. My dog, my Pomeranian, I'll have to show you a picture a long time ago. Miko, M-E-K-O. And it was named
Hmm.
after a Japanese friend I had. But anyway, yeah. So it was a beautiful dog. It really was spectacular. We picked him up at the pound, and then we found it was a purebred, and yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, anyway, yeah, not to go down memory lane, but
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So
I saw this on Twitter, and I can't remember who get credit for it, but somebody on Twitter said that we're, or X as we call it now, said that we're about 6 weeks away from McDonald's launching their own agentic browser. I mean, my goodness, everybody, if their uncle is launching an agentic
you get a
browser right now.
browser, you get a browser, you get a browser. Everybody's got a browser. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a couple things to watch out for those browsers. Number one is there's these little things called prompt injection, and it's really, really scarily easy to do. So all you do, if you're, well, maybe I shouldn't tell them how to do it, but if you're using it to browse and to buy stuff on Amazon, for example, which I've already done successfully, all of these are agentic browsers, which means they take over your screen. They move your mouse around and they search for stuff. So if you leave it for 20 minutes, kind of out there doing its thing. Now, Sam Altman has made a huge thing about it's not super powerful yet, and that's why. Because you don't want it. I think Sam actually, oh, was it somebody was doing it on, was that you that was, oh, it was Matt Wolf, right? And we're going to start a list of who we think the 10 most important people are to follow. I would suggest folks from Macon. So that would be, what's his name again?
Paul Reitzer.
Paul
Paul
Reitzer
Reitzer.
and his, yep. And then I would suggest Matt Wolf if you just want to have some fun. He's not high end or anything, but if you're just getting introduced to this, oh my God, every Thursday.
Yeah, Sabrina Romanoff, Ann
Okay.
Murphy, Kyle Shannon are all good follows.
Yes, all those folks from the, in fact, Kyle's on there, what, 5 days a week, and you're his producer. So he's,
Yep.
now, if you do want to do the AI
Except for this
salon,
week because he's at TED AI.
oh, okay. Is he actually presenting or just there?
He's presenting everywhere he goes, but for that, he's just in the audience.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy, and I want to say kudos because not only has he introduced me to you, but the entire community, and they're just a lovely bunch of people. There's literally something to do every night for free, and then if you become part of their mighty network, you get access to all kinds of free stuff. So, and they have multiple sort of salons. So AI Salon is a big salon. You'll find it on Mighty Networks. So on apps on your phone, that's the place to go to Mighty Networks. Look for AI Salon. There you go. It's in the, hi, Bob. How you doing? Yeah, in fact, we got to get Bob on there and talk about real estate soon too. But anyway, yeah, you want to go there first, and then they also have a website which they're making more powerful. But if you really want to get into it and start to join up, it's worth the money to pay for the extra, especially if you're looking for someplace to go all the time with all the answers. It's a really deep. You could spend your whole day there. It's like a giant wanna do city for AI people. You know, anybody know wanna do city? Do they still have wanna do cities?
I don't think
Is
so,
your
Rick.
kids ever done? Oh, okay. So it's a
And
place in the
not to
mall
be
where you
out,
drop your kids off.
yeah, not to be outdone, Google also had some big announcements with AI Studio this week. It was not Gemini 3 as everyone was thinking, but we are redoing the AI Studio and reimagining the app building process to make it a lot easier. They're latching onto this vibe coding mindset.
Yeah, and so AI Studio, if you remember from a couple episodes ago, it allowed you to go in and upload one picture of yourself, and then it would make you 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So it was Nana Banana, which is their big thing. It's got Vio in there. Oh, by the way, if you're using Nana Banana and you're really frustrating because you asked for 16:9, didn't give it to you, go over to AI Studio, use Nana Banana. And I'm going to add one more thing, and I think it's a future episode for sure. They have the mood boards, just like Adobe has the Firefly boards that we used to generate images right in it, which is perfect if you're an ad agency. So you hit sequential little things to do, and it has Nana Banana in it. So you can go in there and iterate. So you make one picture, and then you can have 16 little spin-offs, and then you can have it go in to make a movie. So inside a board, you lay up your stories literally, and you can make a movie in the space. And it's an infinite canvas where you put all your stuff together, and you can collaborate in it. So that's an AI studio. So AI studio, just so we understand what it is, you got Gemini. You can get to Nana Banana through that. You can get to Canva. You can get into all the other tools that they talked about, the connectors. So connectors are going to an app to do something. So you want to make reservations with, I think was it Expedia they have, or somebody else?
Yeah, booking.com. Yeah. And you can use your
Booking.com.
Canva inside of your Canvas because we're not
Yes.
confusing everybody with all those different terms.
Right. So now what they're doing is they have their labs, and that's AI Studio. And there's about 40 products in there. So everything they tested out, including Notebook LM, got its origins inside this laboratory. They used to call it, now they call it AI Studio. Well, they put that all together. So you go to one place, was it AI Studio? I forget what the URL exactly is, but if you put in AI Studio,
aistudio.google.com.
There you go, aistudio.google.com. That's easy. Yeah, try that out. Yeah, let me know what you find in there, because and you have basically a lovable, thing that you can do in there too, where you can totally make it create agents for you, and it's all free. And there's music maker in there, like not as good as Suno, obviously, but still pretty cool.
And speaking of Suno just released, so Suno 5 came out, which is what we're going to be focused on tonight. But they've also gone ahead and made 4.5, which is their next step down model, free for everybody. So you no longer have to have a paid account to play around with Suno 4.5. Suno is the song maker we're going to be talking about tonight. So if you've ever thought, I would love to make a song, but gosh darn it, I just don't know how. Now that barrier has been removed, because anybody can be producer and insert your name here. And if you're thinking that this is difficult, we're going to show you in a little bit how my 4-year-old son Noah, live with me on video,
it's easy enough
made
for a 4-year-old, not
Halloween
even a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old. That's beautiful.
Exactly.
I love it, Brandon. Okay, so let's take a look at what else we got here. We got Suno's coming out 5.0. It has improved a lot. So I've been doing this forever. So here's a sort of interesting, weird story. So if you look at this, 21 Questions, a song by, guess who? Mr. 50 Cent. So this company called Almost Real, right, comes out with a bunch of songs by a bunch of famous people. And then Joe Rogan is listening to him saying this 1960s style Motown soul version of this rap song. And he's like, oh my God, it's wonderful. Then 50 Cent gets a hold of it, says, oh my God, this is fabulous. And instead of suing everybody, guess what he did? He says, oh, I better start using AI. This is I have a voice in AI than I do in real life. And he started, maybe I should do a 60s Motown song, right? So he's like all of a sudden waking up, which I think is kind of beautiful, right? Because you could sick a bunch of lawyers on everything. And I'm sure if it was some other artist, it might be different. And you're going to see this is that shift. It's a mindset shift. He kind of realized, and I don't know, I mean, this is what I feel about Sam Altman. He came out with copyrighted stuff like SpongeBob and everything else. And of course, somebody made SpongeBob and Patrick do math or whatever, as stupid people will do. But a lot of people had fun with it. And it was the fastest growing application in history. Fabulous. You're making these cute little videos, and Claire's making a picture of me doing stand-up, and then she's doing a song, so it's like, be a kid again and just enjoy it. It's not hurting anybody, hopefully. And then, be the adult that you have to say, okay, stop, eating all that candy on Halloween. That's what you do. But if you're a kid, you know what? As an adult, go out and eat all the candy you want. So here's what the company did. So they remade Prince songs, Snoop Dogg, Black Eyed Peas. These are all copyrighted current songs. Evanescence, oh my God, Bring Me to Life is beautiful. I mean, it's her voice sampled. So the way they did it, I don't want to give too much away, but basically, if you put the lyrics from those songs on Suno, they will immediately not let you do anything with them. If you even use the name of any of these artists, Prince, for example, Nope, not going to do it. It just refuses, period, end story. So what they do, they did the phonetic pronunciation of every one of the words. And when you hear the song, it is the song. In fact, maybe we'll take a listen to it. I'm a little worried about copyright violations, although everybody's pretty much let this go. In fact, the company that did this, Almost Real, is on all of the major stations. I think the next one even tells you, oh, Spotify, they're already making monetization. They're getting hundreds of thousands. And then, of course, for those haters, how many people out there hate Mariah Carey's "All I Want for
Oh
Christmas Is You"?
no,
Right, right.
Rick. We haven't even had Halloween yet. Come on, she's still in deep freeze.
Oh my God. And she should probably stay there for that. I mean, I go back to Bing Crosby and I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Like, you know, I just go back and I hear those songs and I just smile, and I might go back and I find some others. I'm going to watch Snoopy for Christmas and Thanksgiving, The Great Pumpkin. Of course, we have our own real Great Pumpkin. I'm not sure how great the pumpkin is, but he's tearing down the White House and rebuilding it.
So
Anyway,
what are we seeing
Mariah
here?
Carey,
So this isn't Mariah Carey though. I mean, it is Mariah Carey, but it's
no.
not Mariah Carey.
Yeah, it's the actual song done as a 1950s vintage cover. So, and you're able to hack it so they pitch shift the voice. So, there's, if you upload a picture to YouTube or something, or I'm sorry, a song, it'll have you a takedown order immediately, right? Because it actually recognizes the pitch. But if you change a semitone up or down, it doesn't sound, it doesn't trigger the alarms. So this guy evidently figured out the sweet sauce, and it's got 80,000 views. They have close to 1 million views already, and they're making money. And they haven't gotten any lawsuits. Well, maybe one or two. I'm not sure what Mariah is going to do. It's kind of wait and see what happens next week. We'll keep you updated as to what happens with this. But it's sort of like a really weird story. Getting back to the Sam Altman idea, and this is kind of like the song, the thing you probably heard earlier. This was in Rolling Stone. So Velvet Sundown was a band that all the images, them in a VW van, which I think is just like classic. I mean, and you can tell these are AI pictures. And this was 6 months ago or something this happened. So this is a little bit of old story, but they got thousands of streams, which means they made some coin, right? And it was AI. And then people started talking about AI slop. It's not AI slop. I actually listened to it. It's good, solid music. I've been a musician for 50 years of my life. I played trumpet, sang for jazz bands, sang for a bunch of bands, and I've written 150 pieces of my own music. I'm getting copyrighted right now. In fact, guess what I'm using? Suno the entire time. Tried Udio, just ain't there. And Suno has some new things I'll show you today. The whole ability to go out to Pro Tools and re-edit everything that you've done.
This presents a really interesting challenge to see where the music industry evolves to, because we've had people that have been using technology. So you look at deadmau5 and synthesizers and all of that, 90s synth pop that's come out. Is that real music? Well, if it moves you and it resonates with you, it's music.
I mean, all I got to say is photography, and then that's end story right there. Because all I literally do is move my finger like this. But how dare you say it's my camera that made the photograph? So that's my whole Steven Spielberg thing, right? There's only one Steven Spielberg, and he tells stories like nobody else, and he does get the Oscar.
AI doesn't make music; people make music. Yes, people using AI make music.
Yeah, so take some responsibility for it. If it's slop, it's because you're slop.
And the Velvet Sundown is a really interesting use case, I think, because people who are music industry purists will say, well, they're never going to catch on because you can't go see them on tour. You're not going to have a poster of the AI generated people on your wall. And I think that the line is not that thin, in terms of where we draw that line, in terms of being able to decide that they are worthy of my time, energy, attention, and dollars. You know, if
So
if the team is
there's
marketed well enough, you could have
there's a
them on tour through
yeah.
holograph.
I mean, we talked about the movie star that's now getting $1 million contracts to act, and we've already seen that this is getting possible more and more every day. That what's interesting about this is there's a real guy with real musicianship behind it. So he recorded all the music and he made it to taste. Kind of interestingly similar to my journey, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I really find it interesting that it takes a lot of time and craft. I mean, the one thing that if you've ever tried any AI tool, that you see these people doing extraordinary things with it, but these are people that all their lives have been doing it. Like me, and when I make music, it sounds a whole nother level. When Kyle does it, he has a musical background. So the respect comes from a lived experience. It's blood, sweat, and tears that creates a reason to make the songs that you do. And there's nostalgia and understanding, but the nostalgia that you're tapping into, it's the language of humans. Yes, it can mimic it pretty well, but for me to get session musicians to come and record would be $20,000 per song to the level and quality I get out of Suno. And I spend typically 10 hours per song. I've taken songs, and you'll see in a minute, that were 40 years ago that I wrote because of, I fell in love with what would become my wife and ex-wife, 2 kids, and 27-year marriage. And she was with another man. So I wrote a song about that, right? So it came from heartache and then turned into beauty. So that's what I think it's our story to tell. I think the difficulty comes when it gets so close to being able to do it autonomously with a roll of the dice that you get something that sounds decent. But anybody who really knows the difference between a Steven Spielberg and a 12-year-old kid with a Super 8 camera in his high school class making a film, right? So sounds like you've got some kids still waking up over there, huh? So
Yeah, I've been
let's
toggling the mute button heavily as they've been
okay, that's cool.
creating music
I'll,
of a
I'll,
different
I'll,
sort
I'll talk.
upstairs.
I'll talk more. I saw your dog's tail over there too. Cute. All right, so
it's
from
a
Velvet,
it's a room of chaos here, but I would say Velvet Chaos is, there was somebody on TikTok who was comparing them to Milli Vanilli, who infamously voice tracked and did all their stuff that and got exposed in real time because the CD started skipping. But
right.
I think that the difference here is that there's craft behind the art, and so just like
Yep.
Taylor Swift had somebody write some of her songs before she started remastering everything.
Yeah,
You've got somebody
that's
who's
it.
producing a product that is different than artist, singer, songwriter.
So if you look at Willie Nelson, you look at Dolly Parton, they wrote hundreds of songs that other people made money from. So we've been collaborating as human beings forever. I use synthesizers because I couldn't afford a symphonic band. I need some violins just for a little bit. So that was the only way I could physically do it. So all of that's really a fascinating conversation, and it's still not to be figured out. But I think the big shift is we're getting a little bit more relaxed. That as long as the end result is what you're really measuring, the difference between slop and beauty and genius. And I'd suggest that there's not a one of Steven Spielberg's movie that's not genius. And that means that, and here's a really beautiful story. So this happened a little while ago, and Randy Travis, he was on 60 Minutes talking about this. So he had a brain aneurysm, and he lost the ability to really speak or sing at all. So they spent a lot of time. They didn't use Suno, but they used some AI to basically restore his singing. And so he had a song that was unfinished. So they finished the song, and to watch him on 60 Minutes, oh my God, you really should go back and just look at 60 Minutes on YouTube for free now, of course. I mean, he was crying, and his wife was just, because here's this vital man at the height of his career, didn't get to finish the song, and then AI just helped him. It's his song. He wrote it. He sang it. It was one of the most moving musical experiences of my life, because this is where it's an augmentation. he can't sing, and it gave him a voice. And it was so masterfully produced by his same producers that produced all of his music over the years, so they know him. And that's his producer sitting with him saying, "Is this right?" Because he wanted to make sure before they released it, and it was full permission. It wasn't like somebody else did it. So, yeah. Spoiler alert. Okay. So then we have Will I Am, right, from the Black Eyed Peas. So he calls AI the new Renaissance, and he goes out and creates his own radio station. He's going around promoting it for musicians. He was part of the creation of Suno. Actually, he was one of the consultants that kind of got in there. And there's a lot of musicians on
Timberland
Suno.
is also very heavy into this.
Yes. So you have people. Now, I thought about not using Spielberg's name because James Cameron of Titanic and all the other frames, right? And James Cameron is the hugest proponent for. In fact, he's on the board of Stable Diffusion, I believe it is, right? As a guiding light in the industry. He got started in Industrial Light and Magic. That's what he did, special effects. So Titanic would not be possible without some of the special effects, although he did practical effects. And then all of his movies could never without mess. So of course, bracing this because it's a huge time saver. And when he talks to his actors, their emotions come through all so much more real. Andy Serkis is famous for doing King Kong and also Gollum from Lord of the Rings and many other parts. In fact, I think he should have won the Academy Award for Gollum. There's that scene where he says, "Oh, my precious." And then he switches back and forth. It's like, I watched the real film of him acting. It was magnifique, and it was so freaking human because it was a conversation with your evil twin inside your head. And he was going back and forth and he had these little dots all over his face, right? So now you don't even have to wear dots. So anyway, Will I Am, then if you go to the next one, there's is him doing this. And so this is radio station, RAIDIO .FY.I.am. Is that how he actually spells his name? Is he like one of those Prince characters, the artist formerly known as Will I Am or William? But yeah, he's got AI in his name, and he's got a radio station doing the stuff, and he says it's the future of music. So I don't know. I mean, we're both proponents. You think, is there a talkback thing that we should consider? Is there something that bugging you about this?
No, I think he's right, and I think artists need to get on board. I'm definitely in the Timberland and Will.i.am camp in terms of, I think the radio industry has, the entertainment industry as a whole has always pushed back on and then eventually embraced and innovated in the frontier spaces. So you look at any of those innovations from practical effects to special effects, they've always been at the forefront of it eventually, but there's always that pushback to say, no, we're not going to go to 35 millimeter. This is the same. This is fine. We don't need color. We're how many silent film
then you got IMAX films
artists were, how many silent film actors were ruined by the invention of the talkies, right? And so we've always had this component of 2 steps forward, 1 step back in the entertainment industry, and I think this is the next evolution of it. What's different here is that the playing field is being democratized at rapid speed.
Oof, yeah. So I think the difference between Charlie Chaplin, back in the day my synthesizers, I spent at least $20,000. I literally had over 100 cables just for MIDI and sound between my different devices. I had a 16-track mixer. I had multiple drum machines. I had special effects machines that were $1,000. So 20 grand of my money went to doing this. And right now in Suno, for $8 a month, I can make something that's indistinguishable from the best music ever produced, period. And I'm extremely discerning. And 5.0 has some really special sauce. So here we go. So this is the music I'm just getting copyrighted right now. These are just my romance songs. I found that I could only do 10 at a time or 20 at a time, I think, on an album. Now, this song that you're going to hear, hopefully, is Rose-Colored Glasses and Dolly Mustaches, and you'll see the next thing. So let's go ahead and play it and see if we can get the audio here to go, Brendan. It's at the bottom of the picture.
Yeah, so it's on this slide, yeah?
Yeah. In the
I
bottom
see
left.
it now.
There you
I'm
go.
going to mute you because we're going to get feedback otherwise.
Okay.
In a world where the ocean becomes our bed, the sheets ripple like
Oh, hang on.
waves
We
in
had
our
it.
heads.
There we go.
Underneath the sky.
Oh, I have to leave myself unmuted. Interesting. All right. Well, we're going
lemon
to have
drops.
dog
We
barking
dream
in the
hues
background.
of rose and time stops. In a surreal dawn where clocks melt away, we wander through landscapes in endless ballet. With dolly mustaches, we laugh and we sway. A picnic of oranges with black ants in play. Your body undulates like a canvas above. In this realm we paint with the brush of our love. Rose-colored glasses and Salvador Dali mustaches. We dance through the night in this dream that crashes. Rose-colored glasses and Salvador Dali mustaches. In a world of illusion where nothing clashes. Mountaintops burn with the stripes of a zebra. We ride bicycles on air in the stardust era. Rapunzel, let down your hair, let us climb to a castle of wonder where time is sublime. Liquid love laughs at the walls of our castle. We laugh and embrace in this sweet surreal battle. Rose-colored glasses and Salvador Dali mustaches. We dance through the night in this dream that crashes.
So there you go.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So if we go to the next slide, this is what led to that song. So I literally went with my girlfriend to the Dollar Museum in St. Pete. You'll see those are the words on the left. I wrote this at 11 o'clock at night after the whole day. And the top right, you see me. I found a pair of pipe cleaners. So they have a little place where you can have kids go in there. So school groups go to the museum, and they have little pieces of pipe cleaners, right, that you can make stuff out of. So I said, I'm going to make a mustache for myself and my girlfriend. So we wore them around the rest of the day. And we had this beautiful romantic. We stayed at this hotel that Babe Ruth and Marilyn Monroe stayed at. And there's the stationery. Like, so I hand wrote a song. So if you see me in the top right, I'm on a lobster phone. This is Salvador Dali's lobster phone. And I'm thinking, Salvador Dali said he would live on forever, that there was this magical thing. I've always loved his work as being very surreal. So I thought to myself, that's kind of what I feel like, being in love with somebody. And I'm not with her anymore, but it's a beautiful memory, right? Stayed at this beautiful hotel, wrote this thing, and I wrote a song. I wrote words to Salvador Dali, and she and I were both, we sent them to ourselves. And we got them in the mail a couple of days later. And it was like this nostalgia thing, right? And then I said,
it always blows my mind that Salvador Dali died the year Taylor Swift was born. Like that, like
oh,
you think about his
way.
experience and his exposure in the art community, and you think, he was a Renaissance painter. He's from like the 1400s, and he was
no, he's a
watching
contemporary,
with,
more or less.
Exactly. I mean, I was 6, but
Yeah, well, okay. So I was born in 59, so yeah, I'm a little bit older. But yeah, so this beautiful thing, and then I literally wrote these words almost verbatim, really. It's comparing being in love and undulating sheets and all this kind of stuff, and so it was a mixture of that. So I've studied him all my life. So this is Heart, Sweat, and Tears. Now, the reason why I brought this up, in the previous one you saw, there's 20 songs. I've got 120 of these. Each song has the words, and I've kept all of the transcripts in ChatGPT, so I have the entirety of what I did. I probably went into ChatGPT and have it iterate. I would say I spent 4 hours on the drive home. She drove for a little bit, and I finished the song. And then I copied and pasted if you look at the top, it says you have to come up with so female slow, melancholy, alt rock, operatic, pop, Mississippi blues, romantic, minor keys. So I wanted it to have all of that, which I know from musicality and what I know. That's what I came up with. And then I actually went into ChatGPT and I said, here's what I want. I want a couple sitting in Central Park and they're having a giant ants crawling around and a melting clock, etc. So that's the image that goes on the cover. And every one of those images was created exactly the same way. And every one of those songs was with verse and chorus and stuff like that. A couple of tricks I'll tell you about later. And then if you go to the QR code there, you can actually load up the song on your phone and listen to it right now. So it's kind of cool. So let's go to the second one.
And
we'll take a look.
While everyone gets out their phones to scan the QR code, a little Easter egg for you inside that picture. If you ever want to know if an AI is generating a clock, it's almost always the hands at 10 and 2, because all of the training data for clocks is showing them at 10 and 2.
That's true. Yeah, and then
so what do we got here?
So this is my voice clone. So Suno can do that. You can use your voice. Now, what it's going to do is you could actually record yourself doing spoken word, and then when it plays the music, if it's whatever style is operatic, for example. So I know Claire can't sing that well, but Sora makes her sound like she's amazing. I used Hedra with a still image, so I trained it on 50 pictures of me, all kind of nice. And I said long hair in a sort of vintage 1800 style with a specific guitar by name. And then in Hedra, I say, load up the MP3, load up the still image that you see right here, right now. And the rest is my voice singing the song that was recorded in Suno.
She hums through smoke, the air is thick, her pulse is low. Her voice drips slow like honey sick. Stand up, bass echoes below. A piano sighs in haunting tone. The night's alive, but she's alone. Dreams where shadows lie. Through a maze of mirrors, the answers die. Passion whispered secrets unseen. A voice so rich it splits the dream. A leopard dress and eyes that gleam. Piano rises softly. She vapes the air, her lips breathe steam. Strings groan as the rhythm sways. Her voice soars high in timeless haze. The passion sparks like a ghost in the air. A flicker of sound neither here nor there. The bass and keys in solemn reply, while the shadows move where echoes die. Walking dreams where shadows lie. Through a maze of mirrors, the answers die. Passion whispers secrets unseen. A voice so rich it splits the dream.
Nice little look at the end. Here it comes. Here it comes.
She speaks of rivers flowing backward in time, of clocks that stop for no reason or rhyme. The crowd leans in, but she doesn't care. Her voice fills the room like electric prayer. She fades into mist, her song still lingers. Passion's pulses fade. A ghostly caress through smoky fingers. Piano whispers its final refrain. In the heart of the night she remains. words unfold, a melody of dreams and rivers untold. Eating my thoughts, they dissolve in the air, like helium balloons squealing without care. Floating backward to step ahead, time's a trickster, a tatted thread. Coyotes laugh as the moonlight wanes, elephants murmur in haunting refrains. Don't let the dawn walk you, silly boy, or social media's echoes steal your joy. The sound has no source, the meaning is bare. Purple prose floating in an electric despair. Floating downstream, no rocks to defy. Baptized in fire as desires ignite. Palpitations of flesh, exotic dreams. Upside down logic in lucid streams.
So anyway,
think
some of
that's
the,
the
some of
end.
the
Yeah.
words. Yeah, I think you got it. I think you got it now. You got it now.
Yep. Yeah, that was the end of the song.
Okay. Yeah. Go to the next. Go to the next one. So some of the music. Maybe I got to mute. Maybe I got to mute my screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on one second.
Maybe mute it.
There we go. You should be good now.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll hear coyotes howling at a helium moon. You'll hear backwards down a one-way street of dreams. Like all of those lines in there are in every one of my songs. So there's the surrealness of the way that I write. So I literally speak this way. When I wrote music originally, it was this stream of consciousness. So it's James Joyce on steroids with a little bit of Jack Krakauer and a little bit of yeah. Anyway, so that's just who I am. So in every song, there's just a little bit of surreality, and I love alt music. So I love those little minor chords, those little. I mean, the guitar parts in this are just spectacular. So it's a lot of reiterating. So I'll run the song 150 times with little word tweaks here and there, and then the words, the words kind of come fully out, which is really weird. Now, I'm not going to have you play this one because we'll be here all night playing all this stuff. All of this music, by the way, most of it that you see here right now is on my YouTube channel. So go to Rick McCauley and go down right below the AITV because it's a little bit about a year old now. All of this is a year old, and I'm now taking VO5 version 5 of Suno, and I'm upgrading them all. So we can skip past this slide, but this is Florabella. So it's a song on that same trip with my girlfriend, who is a Latin woman. So Florabella means beautiful flower, and Florida is the state flower place, right? So we're driving back from St. Pete through these beautiful, lush, Everglades and other things late at night, and the sun's setting. And I said, that her curves are like scenic highways or are waves crashing against the shore, and that the smell of her perfume is the smell when I sleep and I smell her, right? It's that beautiful Florabella, and Bella meaning beautiful. So I wrote that song, right? So everything, and if we go to the next one, you'll kind of see every song I wrote comes from some deep place. And so I'm documenting it in detail, a whole page of just documentation. Here's Castles in the Sky. Now, the photograph you see on the left is my photograph from Photoshop in 1990. I was in Paris. That's a cathedral. That's in what do you call it? Chartres in Chartres, France. And then the water side there's from California. The clouds are somewhere else. There's a water the big waterfalls from Yosemite Valley. Yosemite Valley. So I photoshopped that together in 1990 when Photoshop first came out. And I made that image on the left. Then I went to guess where? Ideogram, my favorite. And then I did in Chartres. There's emblazoned on the floor. Pilgrims would come all over Europe to get on their knees and go through this maze. It's a very famous maze. It's a circle, right? In the back, there was a hedge maze made from the same shape. So I photographed this little girl from up on looking down at it. And then I went over to Ideogram, and it rendered this on the third try. just by reading and describing what I put in there, which is the picture you see on the left, and I added a rainbow, and then I just said this, and I'm not joking: castles in the sky in an elegant script typeface, and that's the freaking thing that came out, and I'm like,
Wow.
right? So, of all the images, and you'll see every one of, if you actually study each one, it's a good, some of them take 10 hours to do just the image and 20 hours, maybe longer, to do each one of the songs. So I'm literally got 1,000 hours invested in those 100 songs and a lifetime. So every one of them has a story as long as I could. Yeah, I could bore you to death, right? So Castles in the Sky was about this idea that you could, kind of go to a different place. So now we're skipping over to Dangerous Man. So this is what Suno looks like. We'll take a look at it, and I'm going to walk you through the process of creating the Dangerous Man song. And it's about, and you can read some of the lyrics: born of responsibility, service in my veins, 65 years walking through the sunshine and the rain. Got a heart of gold beating, humbled to the core, standing up to humanity. That's what I was born for. Every single day, I'm adding value to this world, especially for the broken, for the lost boy and girl. So that's me. I get in this, I literally, I go into a trance. I don't know how else to explain it. Usually it's a very depressed state, and it scares me a bit. I was with my girlfriend and she was like, "Oh, you're writing songs, aren't you?" It's like, "Oh, so the happy songs luckily come from that place. The Dangerous Man, the whole persona and the music as well, comes from a very deep dark place, honestly, of despair and sort of unfairness, and things aren't right, and I need to fix them. It's a 65-year-old angry man, and I decided to change it and channel it to a dangerous man who's a protector. If you look at it, born to serve, crazy enough to change the world. That's my mantra, who I am as a dangerous man. So that persona I've been refining and tweaking, but it's, who am I? How do I define myself? And my most profound thing is that I have had many hundreds of first kisses, and I've said goodbye to way too many people. I've been at the deaths of 5 human beings off leaving this planet, right at the moment of their death. And I would not want that for anybody. I've been with my mom for 5 years where she didn't know who I was. But, and this is what I think is probably the most human thing there is. If you can take the darkest moments of your life and turn them into light for somebody else, you are gifted, my friend. Um, it looks like I'm locking up here a little bit on the audio. Are we at 1080p? Maybe could be the problem.
I'm not sure. I've been changed any of the settings, but
Yeah, I think I might have changed. I think that might be our issue here, but let's see if we can keep on going. If it blocks out, maybe we'll have to restart. I don't know. Well, anyway, so here's the library of music. So you can see that I'm working on my stage and screen, and The Year Without Summer has a whole folder. And then version 5, I've just been doing a bunch of songs. I think I've made over 4,000 or 5,000 songs so far since day one that Suno came out. I got excited about it. Um, and then I think there's one more slide for Suno to kind of take a look at, maybe two. Yeah, there we go. So just a couple of weeks ago, they introduced Suno Studio. So you take your music and you pull out what are called stems. For those not familiar with music, is it separates the percussion, even actually drums, from the bass drum, etc., and you can break it out into all the stems. That means that each one of these has just the vocal isolated. Then you can go re-record the vocal, re-record the guitar part. If you're skilled at it, you can take this over to right here, right from making the song. You separate out the stems. Now, Suno Studio is a separate application, and I'll show you what that looks like as you jump between them. But take a look at the details. So this is called a digital audio workstation. A DAW is kind of the common language. Pro Tools, I'm sorry, is probably the #1 tool in the marketplace. You might know GarageBand on the Macintosh. And is there something like that on PC, Brandon? A basic Ableton, I think, maybe?
Audacity or things like that. Adobe has an Audacity program,
Yeah.
which you can do similar things. But you're talking about all of them. We're going to get into this in tool time, but we go from this where it's the apex of human creativity. And we're going to come back to that in a second. But I just wanted to touch on our friends, the Walkers. If you see these guys on Facebook, they are not real. They are AI generated. And what this company is doing, they're based in the Philippines. They've created these fake avatars.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
They've created these fake avatars and the sob story about how they're retiring from music because the AI is going to take their jobs. And what they're doing is they're charging $99 for a Suno song, basically, where they're taking and wrapping your prompt around Suno and giving you this customized, personally recorded song that's effectively a Suno song. And it's unethical. And but then again, people are really enjoying the work. Yeah. So and I know you were going to talk about your slide here.
So this is Imagine, the children's book that I did. So this song is by Suno. Well, it's by me. So I wrote it in a very Disney-esque way. In fact, if you listen just a couple of minutes, because I don't want to. This again is all available on Rick McCauley YouTube channel if you want to go deeper. And certainly, if we had more time, I would do some of that. But I want to keep going here because we're running out of time. I want to make sure we get to your everything. Yeah. So you can play a bit of that.
Imagine a world where the stars shine bright, where dreams take flight in the golden light. Turn your fears into stories bold, a world of wonder to behold.
If you read a book, you will find the way through the darkest night to the brightest day.
With a heart so strong and a mind so free, you can shape the world in harmony.
Very cool.
So, am I muted or not? Oh, here we go. So that's proof. Now this is 6 months ago. So, hold my beer. So my original intent was to have the male part sung by the cat. And so one of the workarounds I could have done, and I just ran out of money because it ended up being like $25 per song. Hedra's very expensive. And maybe it's gotten a lot cheaper now. I got to go back and try to check it out. But I would actually record it and just mask off the girl and then and then basically put it back together so that the audio comes out of the cat. So it wasn't quite capable of two characters, but just one. So you saw my voice coming out of the guitar player. You can kind of see how it works. Yeah. So that worked pretty well. But yeah, so it's just a still image, right? So if we want to come on over to Suno itself.
Before we do that, I do want to roll, just as we kind of transition into this week's tool time, I'm going to roll the pre-roll for Suno. And then we're going to start with I told you at the top of the show, Noah and I made a Halloween song. So I've got that tape loaded up. So I figure we'll just roll those back to back.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Good. I get choked up when I talk about this stuff. Yeah. We'll roll those back to back. And then we're going to have Rick walk you through the nitty gritty on the technical details of how his process works. And then I'm going to hop back up at the end and show you my very non-technical process. And then we're going to wrap up with a very special thing that I use Lovable to build up. And we're going to do it all in about 30 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tool Time.
30 minutes to master, tools to explore. Let your imagination soar like never before. AI Tool Time with Rick McCauley, where your digital dreams come true.
Ignition.
Okay, so I'm here with my son Noah. Say hi. and we are going to make a Halloween-themed Suno song. I'm going to show you just how easy it is. So, Noah, we're on Suno. What do you want the song to be about?
Happy pumpkins.
Happy pumpkins. And what type of style do you want?
Happy style.
Happy style. So, like pop?
I mean rock and roll.
Oh, rock and roll style. Okay. So we're going to say inspiration, rock and roll.
Inspiration, rock and roll. Inspiration, rock and roll.
And so I am just going to hit create a Happy Pumpkin rock and roll song.
Is it creating?
It is creating.
I want to see what it looks like.
And just that quickly, we have a Suno song. So here is the world premiere of Happy Pumpkins. And it goes on like that. What do you think of your song, Noah?
Good.
Yeah.
I want to see the video.
Good job.
Oh my God, that's fabulous. Oh, that's so beautiful, Brandon.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it was a little quiet, but I couldn't help capture his expression there.
I mean, he's dancing,
goes.
man. He's got, oh man, he's a better dancer than you are. Probably me too.
So if you search on Suno for Happy Pumpkins by Brandon AI, that's where.
That's right. Because later you're going to show how you're putting the music out there, so you can make your stuff public or private. Right now, you can see like I've got this song here. This is a headless man in a topless bar. It's another song. Actually, it's queued up. I guess I could play a little bit of it. It's kind of a weird song. It actually is. All of my songs come from really weird places. There was actually the favorite headline for journalists was "Headless Man Found in Topless Bar." It was one of those tabloid headlines that we actually had in the Miami Herald newsroom. We just like put it up there because it's such a bizarre thing. Headless man. So he was decapitated while he's in a topless bar, which just seems weird. But to kind of give you a tour of what Suno is, you can take a look at Suno itself, and this is the Suno studio, so you can explore that, learn more about it. You can take a look at everybody's music. So you instantly, hopefully this is not going to slow down on me. I have had this happen a few times when I share it. Let's see if it loads up. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So you can create in Suno Studio, and you can come up with your ideas. And oh, there you go. Now it's there. There you go. So it's a complete workstation for you. So you can create in Studio, or you can just make a simple song. So let me take you through the process. So here's one of my songs, and it plays here. If you click on this, you'll see all the words for the music is here. And then you typically have to have a description that you create. So a man, deep, smoky voice, sensually sings slowly, rich in smoky bar, eerie, ferryman. I wanted a ferryman. There's this weird instrument called a ferryman, which is like electronic signal between two things, right? In a smoky bar, hum stand-up bass, piano, mystery, sensual sounds, right? And then you add a caption and everything else. Then you can upload it. You can even share it. You can do a bunch of stuff. In fact, right here, I can download the song as an MP3, as a video, which is what we saw earlier. And that means it's going to have your actual words and lyrics on there. So if you share the MP4, you can post it to your YouTube channel. And I think that's what Brandon's going to show us a little bit later. And then you can go into the details. You can change it, make it public or not. Everything I've done so far, except for maybe 5 songs, is private. just because I'm getting copyrighted. I'm still working on them. I don't want to release. I release them to my friends so that they can do that. Stems, including MIDI. So musical interface, digital interface. So it's basically the ability to say to a musical instrument, a MIDI device, that here's where the note is. It's an ABC note, right? And then it sends a signal to a keyboard, which could then play a symphonic note or a sample of any instrument you want. You can create and make a persona, so I can actually clone my voice as I've done before, remaster a song, or put it on Suno Radio. It's their own radio station. In fact, they have it here. You listen to that. You can add it to a playlist, which I've got a lot of those. Add it to the queue. We can remix and edit it. So edit in studio or edit in pro, which means you can go down to the word and one note and actually pitch it up and down and do all kinds of cool stuff. So you can crop it, you can replace the screen. All of this for basically $8 a month. I think I'm paying for the $14 a month or so to be able to make, I think, somewhere upwards of 1,000 songs a week. It's kind of nuts. And the songs are very quick. So let me just go ahead and make a new song so you get it. You can go here and create. And then you could just say you want a rock and roll song. Okay. So I'm just going to say rock and roll. And then let's have it barbershop QUARTET quartet. And then I'm going to say, and so then I could do that. And then I can come in and make my own custom lyrics. So I would actually copy and paste in my lyrics there. And there's my style. I should have copied that style. So a simple one, you could just say this, and then you can say, be an instrumental. No, I don't want that. But I could just say that alone and roll the dice. And it's actually going to make, sorry about that. I kind of messed up. Sleepy song about a barbecue with friends. All right, why not? So I'm going to go create that. And this is what I call slop. This is the epitome of slop. So I'm going to create it, and you'll see it's going to pop up here in about, it's making 2 at all times. And then without doing anything. Now, how do I actually work? And while that's going on, I'm going to show you my song here. And this is the way that I do it. So I could come in here and change this song. So here's the one that has the full styles. So there's the whole style. So what I typically do is I start in ChatGPT, I get the style and everything showing up here. And then I can add a caption to the picture. I can go and edit the picture itself. Like music.
She came to town one shadow night with silver in her eyes. Said, I'm progress, baby, sign right here, I'll make your spirit rise. She smelled of neon thunder and whispered like a dream. Cheaper, better, faster love, I'll make your whole world gleam. But I said, no deal, lady. Keep your golden coat. I'll walk barefoot through Walden Pond, where the still cool waters flow. You can tempt me with your lightning, but you can't buy my soul. I'll use your fire to light my way, not burn what makes me whole.
So it's basically Devil Went Down to Georgia. This is literally what I did. I go to ChatGPT. I want a song that sort of Devil Went Down to Georgia, but it's AI wanting to make my life easier. If only I will sell my soul. And I say, hell no. I'm going to walk barefoot through Walden Pond. I'm going to feel the still waters cold and flow. So it's coming from where I'm at. Man, forget your blood. And she said, forget your blood and bone. I'll build you a brand new home. But I said, no deal, lady. You can keep your phantom glow. I'd rather feel the dew at dawn and the hand I used to hold, but can promise me forever. But I've lived long enough to know cheaper, better, faster ain't where real things grow. So this is the story of my humanity, man. This is what I'm trying to do. Um, yeah, and in fact, Jenny's kind of asking what I do. So you can use Pro Tools is what I use when I do it, and I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, I'm not making it public yet, but you can go to my Rick McCauley YouTube and sing most of these songs. This is what I'm working on right now, and I don't really want to kind of completely, open up the kimono, as they say here, right? I can go in here and I can try this again. So let's go back to what it just made. So if I take a look at my library of songs, this is the one it just made. I have no idea what this is going to be like. Let's see. Hello? Maybe I had to put some words in there. I don't know. Oh, there we go. So, this is AI slop. So this is nothing that I actually created. But you can publish it, make it public. You can upload your own audio, so you can train it on what you want. So you can play a few notes with your guitar and piano, add in. When we create a new song, basically, what I typically do is I come in here to custom, and I'll go into ChatGPT and I'll spend a day or two, right? And then when I got the nut idea that I want to do, then I'll copy and paste it in here. Then I'll have it create a style, and I'll always tweak it because I know better than it does what kind of music. And for me, it's sort of like in alt music with blues, little mix. I love the call and response idea. In fact, here's a really cool tool for you is ask ChatGPT to put in the lyrics. So let's find something that you can see. Here's Florabella. So here's Florabella, and then here's the words. So you can have it go into Florabella. So it has, and the normal thing is verse and chorus, etc. Right? Verse 2, chorus 2, and then you've got that repeat, etc. Now, in parentheses, you could actually put in here that this is a male voice singing, then a female voice, and then this is a guitar solo. So anything that you copy and paste into, let me see if I can find a better piece that I've already done this with. Let me go into my playlists. So here is my playlist. There's the Dangerous Man song. And I don't think I got this one. Let me see if I actually had this one broken down. Yeah, so there's a chorus, there's a verse. So you can actually have it go through and set up your instrumentation. So if you're careful and you direct it really well, and then the information here is male deep vocals, blues, folk art, anthemic male vocals, acoustic guitar, drums, patriotic and inspirational, and then you get Dangerous Man, which you can hear played here.
Under twilight's grin.
Oh, sorry, I played the wrong song. Here we go. Let me try that one more time. Had the wrong song loaded up. I'm not sure why it's not playing. Oh, here we go.
Born a responsibility, service in my veins, 65 years, walking through the sunshine and the rain. Got a heart of gold beating, humble to the core, standing up for humanity. That's what I was born for. Every single day I'm adding value to this world, especially for the broken, for the lost boy and girl. I'm a dangerous man at 65.
I got to rewrite this
the people keeping hope alive, love unconditionally, but I won't back down from the greedy and the vampires trying to take this town. I'm a superhero for the beautiful souls, dangerous man with righteous goals. Live my life like Jesus, protection is my creed. Stand against the darkness, plant a better seed. 7 deadly sinners and the power-hungry few feel the weight of justice when I'm coming after you. Without permission, they just take and never give. I'll get in trouble if that's how the good must live. I'm a dangerous man at 65, fighting for the people, keeping hope alive. Love unconditional, but I won't back down from the greedy and the vampires trying to take this town. I'm a superhero for the beautiful souls, dangerous man with righteous goals. Dangerous man.
So the beauty of this is I can publish it. I can download it. I can re-roll it again and again and again, remix it. I can cover it. I can actually put out the stems, and I'll show you that here. So that's my library here. And then if I want to create their home, and then I also have the ability to look for hooks. Hooks is a new thing where they actually create some videos for you. I can explore other people's work here. So this is everybody that's on the platform. If you're making music and you think it's sort of, you want to see what other music people are doing, you look at other people who publish their work. Right now, until I get my copyright on the songs I really care about, I don't really want to put a bunch of slop out there. For some reason, this seems to be really slow kind of rendering. I might have to see about maybe going out. So here, oh, there's the studio. So there's the song. If I go into studio, it's going to take me, hopefully. There we go. So this is actually the Dangerous Man song. So I can go here and I can solo this part, and I can just play it from here.
Love as my whip, walking through the sunshine and the rain. Got a heart of gold beating, humble to the core, standing up for humanity. That's what I was born for. Every single day I'm adding value to this world, especially for the broken, for the lost boy and girl. I'm a dangerous man at 65, fighting for the people, keeping hope alive, love unconditional.
So you can replace each part. You can go zooming into it. I haven't spent a lot of time in here, to be honest with you. You can solo the bass part, for example, and kind of see what that's all about. I think I've got I've got two parts here opened up. That's the bass part. And then I can take this and I can even go further. I can go back to the song. I can re-record over a section. I can highlight a part of it. I can put on a click track. I can export this. And I can export as a multi-track. So what this does is it actually export all 8 tracks here of what I've got. And I didn't break out all the stems because it's got the backing vocals are here. And you can see that I've already done some editing in here where I can kind of figure out what part I want to take a look at. Oops, let me turn that on.
Jesus, protection is my creed, stand against the darkness, plan a bed.
Now, what I have typically done is gone over then to Pro Tools. I can't get there and keep the audio going, but in Pro Tools, I can take each one of these and do everything I can do in Pro Tools, which is literally everything. I could turn these drums into a MIDI track and then assign different deeper basses drums. I would also go pan left, pan right. So I've got capabilities to do all these things right here. So I've got my pan left, right, and I've got my input. So I could actually hook up my microphone, do the audio over again. There's my Shure microphone that I'm using here today. So I've got this ability to do pretty much everything. And if you want to just take a look at other people's stuff, hooks is the new thing. I haven't tried this yet. Let's see if it takes that long to do it. But you can see other people's hooks and you can kind of see what other people are doing. You can follow them. And it's a whole social media kind of networking thing. And you can explore, and there's the radio station. Oh, these are the types of words you can use. So if you want to see what a Liverpool big band sounds like, There's what it sounds like. How cool is that? Griot UK. Cabaret Americana. Great.
Best friends forever in sunshine or weather.
Okay, I gotta hear Polka Emu. I mean, you can pretty much match up any. So it's to have fun and look at other people's stuff and trending, and there's a bunch of competitions where there's real money to be gotten too, and then people can send you notification. Looks like so. Oh, there we go. So I've been following. This is Dr. Claire. Is she here with us tonight? So this is some of her music that she shared. So it's just a fun. I mean, it's what music is meant to be, right? To play and to come away with something like a great song for, to play for the other kids. So is he going to be able to take this to school and play it for other kids, the songs that you made, Brendan?
He might be. We might have like a talent show or a parents' night or something like that. That we can talk about. But I think the thing is, it's for him right now, at least, is his music journey is more personal, and that he's creating songs that make him happy. And seeing him,
and man, he looked really happy when he was playing that. Oh my God, that was just. And I remember as a kid, like my mom would play Boogie Woogie on the piano, and she'd tell all of his kids how to do the left hand, the right hand, right? And I for to this day, man, 66 years old, and I'm like, yeah. So, oh, by the way, Jeannie, the Dangerous Man is not currently my voice. However, I will be doing that. That's actually what I was working on tonight before we started. So what I do is I'm going to try, and here's my goal, which is really interesting. I'm going to give once I have it copyrighted, I'm going to give all of my music up to Spotify and publish it everywhere. And then I'm going to suggest what I want to do is take all the AI out. So I will probably sing a lot of the male vocal parts because I've had some experience. I'm gonna have to get my vocal chops back up, and I gotta stop drinking diet soda and stuff like that because it ruins your vocal cords. Actually, I found that when I drank a beer and ran 5 miles, my voice was my peak, right? Because it had that raspy and it had that deep, it's got that thing going on, It's like, yeah, baby, that's what I'm gonna write a really good song.
Hang on, Rick. Inspirations hit. Hold that thought. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
And I'm going to share Suno. And I'm going to go over here to the Create tab. And I'm going to say a country song about drinking a beer.
Oh, there you go.
And running 5 miles. And I'm just going to say, I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to hit create. And we're going to see what the song comes back with. So this is how for me, this is my creative process. This is what most people would generate would qualify as AI slop. However, a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, and if I was serious about this and I wanted to turn this into a country song, I could iterate on this and take the lyrics and use the audio editing studio, or we could just let it rip.
There you go. Wow. Okay. You had me at hello there. You had me at 5 miles from here.
Cracked open a cold one at the break of dawn.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Sun was yawning and the day rolled on. Lace up my shoes, I got dirt to find. Beer in my hand and I'm feeling fine.
Yeah.
Every
so
step I
lyrics,
take, I hear that
I
sound.
made the music.
The slosh of a can and my feet hit the ground.
Reading out of the part.
5 miles ahead. One sip at a time.
slip at a time.
Chasing the sunrise.
Okay, this is
I'm
actually pretty
towing the
good.
line. Sweat on my brow, but the taste feels right.
Oh man, that's a good song,
Beer and
man.
5 miles.
All right, what's the credits on that, Brandon?
That's my morning fight.
It's my show where you created this, Brandon, and you're on the payroll, so that's my song, right?
That's
That's awesome.
Exactly. It was your
But-
inspiration.
If you were to go back, and I've done a lot of studying about this, where do great artists get their inspiration? It literally is as simple as that. For me, I literally have recursively gone into dark depression where I'm not fun to be around, I got to tell you. But it's typically after I broke up with somebody that I really cared about, or someone misunderstood me and whatever. And you kind of go to the depths of your soul and you come back with something. But even something like what you just did. So Dr. Claire and I used to get on Mid-Journey, and I would say something really weird, like whistling Dixie up a blind man's dress. This is one that I actually did, right, a long time ago. Whistling Dixie up a blind man's dress. I was like, that's a visual. So the way that I work is I visualize what would it be like if you whistled Dixie up a. So a blind man has a dress on. That's just weird. And that came from even the headless man in a topless bar. A headless man in a topless bar is a man that doesn't think, that he's in a topless bar instead of finding true love, because he can't find true love. He doesn't have the emotional fortitude to actually find a woman and spend the time to get him to love him. So he pays someone to do that. That's what the song's about. I mean, that's deep existential stuff going on in there. But it was a headline in a newspaper. So it's this sort of radical creativity. This is my new word, because I used to say mushroom trip. And then I got in front of my students and I kept saying mushroom trip. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not suggesting that you take mushrooms, really, because some of my students were like, oh, let's take some mushrooms, right? Do it right here. No, 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 no. So I came up with radical creativity. And radical creativity is when and that supposedly is what LSD did. I only did hash once by accident. It was in brownies, and I ate half a thing of brownies, and that's another story for another time. But it does get to the point, which is this: if you expand your consciousness, which I think, if you have the proper relationship with AI, it can act as a mirror to expand your consciousness. So for me, my drug is AI. And I have I'm talking 3-4 hours, or I'll wake up in the middle of the night, or I wake up every morning and I write 3 incredible things. I just got done with a 4-hour thing about how photographs compress. We talked about at the beginning, how songs compress, and how smell compresses time. And here's the difference. And here's maybe where this is coming from. When you say words, and a large language model trains, it's peanut butter and jelly. It's a linear thing. A picture of peanut butter and jelly sitting on a table with grandma making it for you at lunch when you're 5 years old is a 10,000 word essay, right? And it's grounded in memory, in smell, in touch, in the music that was playing on the radio at the time, and it lasts past Alzheimer's. I mean, it's insane that that's where we compress. Our superpower is every picture that we have. That grandma fixing a peanut butter and jelly and putting in your lunch bucket. Then you got bullied by some kid who stole it from you. And then other kid gave you some carrots that you didn't really want. And all of a sudden, you're off on this thing, right? So it is all that. Yeah, and so now it's learning that, well, what if I go there and I tell it my deepest, darkest secrets? I mean, even my girlfriend, I'd turn over at night and I'd start saying, I just came up with this brilliant idea. It's like, so I would literally go outside in my backyard and I would sit there for 3 hours at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'd write 12 songs. I'd come in and you got to hear this. She's like, where did that come from? Well, 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up in a fever dream so I've always thought dreams are this. Your chemicals are all in an organized way, the way that a high school teacher does it. It's like a math teacher, right? It's very linear. And what you do is when you go to bed, those they're structured like this, right? All of a sudden they go, whoa. fall, and they start to drift. And then connections get made that aren't made in any other way. So you got this magical thing happening. And that's where music comes from. It comes from a headline story, a headless man in a topless bar. And then it's a dark time where I went to a strip club and I kind of enjoyed myself. And I'm like, damn, why don't I just find a new girlfriend? You know, that other one didn't work out, but why am I feeling sad for myself? And, then I said, well, this is pretty good for now, right? It's just like, and then you start to get really deep, and that's what I do. And that's what makes me me. And if any single
And then
ladies
you have a beer and go for a
available,
5-mile run, and it clear your head, and it gets
right.
all better.
Yeah, and I
So
stopped drinking beers because and to land the plane on this one, because I know we need to go on. I stopped drinking beers because it got in the way of true consciousness raising, because I think you have to be severely tuned in. One time on vacation, I was with a bunch of people on a trip, right? And there's 20 of them. And I kept stopping and saying, "We got to take this picture. Gotta take this." And then I'd come back and we'd be on the same walk through the woods or whatever. I'd come back with this amazing picture. We show slides together. Where did you shoot that? Where did you shoot that? Was my favorite thing, right? Because nobody was as aware. They would say, how can you possibly enjoy yourself if you're always looking through a camera? I says, I'm so there that I saw what you didn't. I had an existential, beautiful moment with my camera where I saw something you didn't. So it's an expansion of your consciousness to see things that others don't. And my suggestion is it's like catching fish with your hands. The people that are really good at it will come back every time from the river. And you're like, how did you do that? How did you do that? How did you do that? And you'll feed an entire community, because that's what art is. It's about you tuning yourself so deeply into what life is that you go down to a river and you can catch fish every time. So every time I walk with a camera, if I'm intending to, I will come back with something that will make you cry, that will move you. And, maybe every once in a while we get to share it here on AITV,
yeah,
and that's music.
to me, this song, as impromptu as it was the unlock for me, is that this is filling the gap of, like, when you said that line, like, oh, I used to, have a beer and go for a 5-mile run. Like, the first thought in my head was that sounds like the title of a country song.
Right?
And, and like that's that, and in my head, I was like, it's going to be an upbeat song,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
a fun little Brad Paisley
Uh,
bit. And then, so I put it in, and what it did was it filled in the cracks of my brain with the missing pieces of the puzzle, to the point that I am now hearing that song. I'm like, that is a really good song. I mean, if you look at just some of the lyrics, just a
yeah.
little piece where the beer cools my soul, the run clears my mind, together their freedom, a rhythm I find. I'm like, I didn't write those
That's it.
lyrics. And so
Well,
for anybody who
but you
says
vibe
AI
code.
can't be creative, like, I took
You
a
vibe
wisp of an
coded them.
idea. Yes,
Yes.
I vibe coded it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
vibe thought it. Because anybody who says AI can't be creative, I challenge you, go find a song. Go find a country song that's out there in the charts that's talking about grabbing a beer and running a 5K. Like, it doesn't happen.
Right.
That
You're
song
right.
doesn't
Right. Right.
exist, and it would never have existed for not Suno. And so,
Yeah.
to me, that is just so incredibly satisfying, is scratching an itch that I couldn't reach.
Yeah, I mean, but how long did John Lennon sit there at a piano or whatever and to come up with lyrics? In fact, Strawberry Fields, which I did a deep dive on, was at a time where he was having a lot of difficulties. And Strawberry Fields was him remembering as a 4-year-old kid in his backyard in England, right? His mom said, let's go plant a strawberry plant. And then he went out there at 4 years old when it got big enough and he ate it. And he was reminded how beautiful a moment that was. You got to send me that song, because that's actually a beautiful song. And it takes me right back to that moment. So I would run 5 miles to the warehouse where, with Don Hank, God rest his soul, that's another story. The asshole song, maybe I'll write about that again. So when I wrote all these 100 songs, my roommate at the time, we had both gotten divorced after a 5-year marriage for me, lived in Kendall at the time. That's a long story. But anyway, So then and we recorded all the music together. So I was the front for his band called Black Star. I was a singer, and I wrote songs with him. So every night we would sit in the hallway and talk about man stuff, right? And we both realized we're such kind and gentle men that women took advantage of us. So I wrote a song called "The Asshole Song." And the asshole song was, we were teaching each other's how to be assholes so we could protect our heart. So the asshole song is about putting on your armor because you were born as a gentleman and you would not ever wrong a woman, but you've got to protect your heart because it's too tender and women will take advantage of it. That was basically that song, which is really deep. So I finished this song and I get on the phone, and I hadn't talked to him in 3 years, right? Um, and I find out he passed away. And so I found the drummer of the band, Steve, who still works for Channel 6 News, I think, or something. Anyway, he's a producer, a director. He was the drummer of the band. And I said, what happened? And I couldn't forever find out what. So I literally wanted to go into the studio with him because I knew he'd done a studio with his wife. He had this beautiful love affair with this beautiful woman. And I still haven't been able to get a hold of him. But anyway, so Steve then comes back to me. This is 2 days later. After we were talking on the phone for like an hour and a half. We were planning his wake and we were trying to find his wife. And anyway, long story short, so he sends me this piece of paper, just a photograph with his phone, right? There's a song he wrote about, well, it's called Be Kind to Yourself. And he never recorded it. He played it like 2 or 3 times for Steve, and Steve had the sheet of paper, as I had a song called "Going the Wrong Way Down a One-Way Street of Dreams," and it was about my future wife, who I was so in love with, but she was with another man. So I'm going the wrong way down a one-way street of dreams, past logic and reason. Everybody's screaming, "What the hell are you doing?" Right? So I spent that time writing that song, and at the same time, he wrote this song that I never saw. And he sends me this thing. So then I copied and pasted the words directly. Just be kind to yourself. Because I was kind of in a dark place at the time. And I put it into Suno. And then I carefully crafted how his voice sounded to me. And he always played the guitar. And he was a session musician, and he had a recording studio and did all kinds of music. He made so many people's lives so beautiful. And I played it back and spent the rest of the night crying about this beautiful man that I knew. And then I wrote the asshole song and finished it because I had to laugh, man. You got to take something and make some beauty out of it because it's so. And he was this man that could have like literally gotten together session musicians, all 120 of my songs. My goal is to take all the AI out of it, to have real people make real money. And what I'm offering, and I'm still offering it, right? When I put these all out there, I'll give you 60% of all revenues of this song. Just send me 40%. You know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to give it to people that are trying to do music bands at high schools that don't have the money. I'm going to take all the money I've made from all the beauty I've made in the world, and I want to put it out there. And I want it to have strawberry fields forever in Oxnard, California. Thought of John. Yeah. In fact, it's in my book.
Do you have the song called up on your Suno thing? Because I think that would be a beautiful way to end tonight's episode.
Yeah.
The Be Kind to Yourself, not the asshole song. I mean, you know.
Yeah. The asshole song's really good. I mean, it's really ironic and kind of funny. Let me do a search for it here real quick.
While Rick tries to find that, one thing I wanted to share is that we've collaborated on some of these songs, and we have a great methodology for sharing. Suno has a great playlist methodology, but one thing you can't do is collaborate on playlists. Like I can't add a song to Rick's playlist. And I thought, you know what? That's a feature that should exist. So thanks to Lovable, which we learned about last week, I actually went to Lovable and I went to ChatGPT first. I said, okay, I want to solve this problem. I have access to Lovable. I have access to Suno. How do I marry the two? And a few minutes later, I had this. So this is sunoplaylists.lovable.app or suno-playlist.lovable.app. And what this is an area that you can log in, create a free account, and then take any of the songs that you've published on Suno and add them to a community playlist. So you can build a playlist for a wedding, or you could build a playlist for, that you and your friends are working on. And so I have my first playlist here. I was just testing this out. So we have songs that, like, Cedar Point is the song that we made for our song of the summer. And then The Rainbow Windmill is a song that I made off of an inspiration of a picture that my daughter Naomi drew. Puppy Paradise was Noah's first Suno song that he did. He loves that song. He asks for that song all the time. And then what I can do is I've locked this playlist, but I can go ahead and unlock the playlist, because what I want to do is I want to add this song that Rick and I just did to the playlist. So I'm going to unlock this just to add that song. I'm going to lock it back down. And so now if I come back to explore and go to my first playlist, I now have at the bottom Beer in a 5 Mile song, and you can listen to it here. It can be shared with the world. Now, you can share it in Suno too, but if you're working on it, so anybody, if you've inspired you can go create your own community playlist. And the other one that I have here that we've started is Halloween songs. That's the Halloween effects with the dog. But so we have everything here from.
I think the dog needs a song.
I've just added Happy Pumpkins, which is Noah's new song.
Oh, nice.
But here I have. I just want to play. Did you find your song here?
I did find it. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna have you pull that up and bring us down, and then I'm gonna bring you back up with a Easter egg here at the end of the night.
Okay. It should.
There we go.
There we go. There we go.
Some days you try, some days you fight, some days you just smile and wait for the night. Sometimes she's sweet, sometimes she's mean. Most times she loves you, most times you agree. You got that look in your eye, bet you'd like to know where I've been. Tonight I'd like a little help fighting the sin, a hunger inside, gnawing at my core. Treat me right, you're the only woman I adore. Be good to yourself, give it all you've got. Be good to yourself, you're the only one you've got. You say you will, you say you might, just don't fight. Treat me right, be good to me, and I'll be good to you. Later on, we'll see who gets the best of who. Treat me right, I don't wanna start a fight. Treat me right, I only wanna feel alright. Be good to yourself, give it all you got. Be good to yourself, you're the only one you've got. In this life, we're all we've got. Through the highs and lows, let's not forget to be kind to ourselves, to live with no regret. Be good to yourself, that's how you'll shine the best. Treat me right, I don't wanna make it a fight. Treat me right, cause you're the only woman I want. Be good to yourself, you're the only one you've got. Be good to yourself, give it all you've got. Be good to yourself, you're the only one you've got.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks, Don. That's it. That's why we make music.
Jeannie wanted to know if that song was published yet.
No, I'm still trying to contact his wife. I know that he was buried in the
I
Vatican
drove
City.
past your parents' house.
Is that you, Ree?
No, it was you, but it's okay. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah, it has a tendency to play other people's music, that's like your music, which is sort of
yeah,
interesting too, because then you can kind of collaborate. So, yeah, that's cool. I like that idea, Brandon. I mean, how many people play an instrument, right? Did you play an instrument in school or anything? Take piano lessons, something like that?
I took up. I played violin for 8 years, and I went to
Wow.
see my old teacher, my old tutor, years later because I don't play it actively, and I had seen him like this is like 10 years out of college, and I went back to my old town and found my old teacher, and I was like, yeah, hey, how's it going? You remember me? And he goes, yeah, you didn't give up.
Could you pick up a violin today and play?
If we wanted to scare the cats in the neighborhood, yeah. But
Or you want to get your dog to I love that Kyle plays his guitar and then the dog
yeah.
chimes in, every time. I
Speaking of
actually
dogs,
went out to a
right
yeah,
here.
there he is. What's his name?
That's George. That's George, our
George.
puppy.
George definitely needs a song. In fact, maybe I'll write one for him. But that's it,
Yeah,
right? So even like when you want to be kind to yourself, be kind to yourself and just play. I think that's the thing that gets drummed out of us in grade school. I was so fortunate. I was in Japan and then I was Greece. I've been playing all my life. I haven't stopped, and that is why I'm an artist because art is a thing that comes from your soul. One of my favorite lines of all times is Winston Churchill in the height of World War II. He says, "Will you cut the funding for the arts?" And his line back was, "Then what are we fighting for?" And that's it. What are we living for? To be able to be the verb, to be able to be the stardust, which all of us are made of. And occasionally one of us rises and becomes a star. Sometimes we break it apart in our cup that we're trying to drink from, and it's broken. And then Kintsugi says, put back one drop of gold, one drop of blood, sweat, and tears back into your cup to mend it, and then drink. Drink of art that feeds your soul. Drink of art that makes you think that you're invincible or that takes your pain and your anger and turns it into beauty. It's the alchemy of being an artist, to be an active verb and an agent within life's short span, a finite amount of time, so short that we are a stardust. To become a starlight for somebody else is to make music, to make photographs, to make any kind of art that feeds your soul. And that I think is the most beautiful thing of all. And it's my pleasure to spend the time with you all. And Jeannie, I want to talk to you later because you sound very fascinating. I'm not sure if we've talked before, but yeah, anyway.
yeah. Jeannie is pretty active in the salon. She's a genie in a
Yeah.
bottle. Um,
Yeah. I love the
but
name too. In fact, my mom's name was Jean, and Genie in a Bottle was something, and then there was a song by Stephen Foster, Genie with a light brown hair, that my dad would sing to my mom. And yeah, so that's beautiful. And thank you for joining us over and over again. I appreciate you. And
and happy birthday, Rick. You're
oh,
not going to be a
thanks. Yeah,
dangerous man at 65 anymore. A
yeah,
couple more
no,
days,
I'm
huh?
gonna have to change that, and I think I just want to be dangerous, and I actually want to be a dangerous person because this is not a place. I mean, men have been protectors, but women really have been the soul, and so I'd like to find women. In fact, I'm looking for a woman who is that dangerous soul, and in fact, maybe I'm going to do the next show. Maybe we'll do Looking for Love, and we'll do the Aria story, which I already have ready to go as a NPR TV series, and I basically go on 52 dates in 52 weeks, virtual or otherwise. So any single ladies out there, um, yeah. So this Saturday is my birthday. I did put on Facebook that it was my birthday, and everybody's starting to well wish. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. That definitely is one of the coolest things about Facebook for me is that everybody has a birthday, and then I get noticed that because I don't remember people's birthdays, and I'm one that celebrates it because they're gonna be not that many. I mean, if we get to AI to where we can live for 200 years, then awesome. And then would
It's
you
a
want
lot
to
of
live 200?
candles.
Would you want to live to 200 years?
As long as quality of life could be sustained, yes.
That's it. That's it. And I think that's what we're looking for, right? I've reversed pretty much my type 2 diabetes, and they've cured it now in 3 or 4 people already. So there's, a short time when maybe all of us get to be that way.
And I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Bob, the Florida man routine is already taken. So Rick can't be
and
a
I've done
Florida
some
guy.
Florida man stuff in my lifetime, that's for sure.
And on that note,
yeah.
it is time to land that plane. We're going to send you out this week with our new song, Beer and 5 Miles.
All
But
right.
keep it locked here for AITV Starship, and appreciate all of your support and love on the
keep being
YouTube channel.
beautiful people and give love generously always. It always comes back and feeds your soul, and perhaps the verb that is you, art, alive. Thank you.
Good night.
Cracked open a cold one at the break of dawn. Sun was yawning and the day rolled on. Lace up my shoes, I got dirt to find. Beer in my hand and I'm feeling fine. Every step I take I hear that sound. Slosh of a can and my feet hit the ground. 5 miles ahead, one sip at a time. Chasing the sunrise, I'm towing the line. Sweat on my brow, but the taste feels right. Beer and 5 miles, that's my morning fight. Neighbors shake their heads as a jog on by, with a grin on my face and a beer held high. Boy, you're crazy, yeah, maybe they're right, but this combo's the key to my morning light. The gravel crunches and the world feels still. Beer in my veins and I'm climbing that hill. One sip for the struggle, one for the thrill, one for the quiet and the strength to refill. 5 miles ahead, one sip at a time. Chasing the sunrise, I'm towing the line. Sweat on my brow, but the taste feels right.